to Deep Sleep Stories. Thank you to everyone who's been listening. If these stories help you relax or fall asleep, a short review, comment, or sharing the podcast with someone who might benefit is a simple and meaningful way to support the show so that we may continue to offer it for free. Now, take a slow, gentle breath and let's begin tonight's story.
Hello and welcome. My name is Owen Thorne, and I invite you now to settle into a soft, comforting space. You are here to drift into a state of deep rest, and together we will wander among lush greenery and tranquil waters. As you hear my voice, feel your body begin to relax, any remaining tension flowing away like a gentle stream. Tonight, we will travel through the gardens of Babylon, a timeless place where nature's whispers and soft drifting breezes invite you to let go of the cares of the day. Breathe in slowly and deeply, and sense that delightful wave of calm washing through your limbs. As you exhale, imagine your breath carrying away any heaviness, leaving only a lightness behind. In this moment, you are safe, relaxed, and at peace. Soon, you will step into a realm beyond ordinary reality, carried by a serene current into an ancient oasis of soft nature, sounds, and quiet wonder. Long ago, there was a peaceful traveler who came upon the towering walls of a legendary city. Just beyond those walls, the fabled gardens of Babylon blossomed under an endless sky. Magnificent terraces rose one atop another in cascades of greenery, and clusters of flowering vines trailed gracefully down ancient stone columns. In the tranquility of early dusk, as the sun dipped beneath the horizon, the gentle glow of twilight fell upon the leaves, turning each delicate petal into a shimmering sign of evening's grace. Drawn to this lush retreat, the traveller stepped into a broad courtyard lined with tall date palms. Their feathery fronds swayed softly in the twilight breeze, and the gentle hush of rustling leaves provided the first soothing welcome. Water trickled nearby, as though the stones themselves whispered old secrets of the land. A pathway led through gardens dotted with luminescent lanterns, each one casting a halo of soft light. It was a realm where night-blooming flowers unfurled their petals, releasing fragrances so subtle they seemed to blend with the night air, weaving scent and darkness into a soothing lullaby. The traveller walked slowly, absorbing the serene hush of this hidden paradise. At times, the only sound was the quiet thump of a heart beating calmly in the chest, so peaceful that the traveller nearly forgot anything existed outside these walls. Clusters of wildflowers in pastel hues lined the path, and when the breeze stirred, it carried the delicate perfume of newly opened petals. A sense of wonder rose from the very stones beneath the visitor's feet. A wide reflecting pool waited in the centre of the garden, its edges trimmed with low, polished stones worn smooth by time. Reeds and grasses wove together along the water's border, creating a tapestry of shimmering greens. The surface of the pool appeared like black glass in the deepening dusk, but closer inspection revealed the slow ripples of graceful koi fish beneath. Their gentle arcs and slow turns in the water reflected the quiet peace of the hour. Whenever the traveller paused, these subtle ripples moved outward, sending shimmering lines across the water that caught the moon's reflection and transformed it into elongated silver ribbons. Amid the terraced design of the garden, winding walkways rose and fell like gentle waves upon the earth, leading to small alcoves draped in ivy. Subtle stone benches with cushions sat in perfect stillness, inviting weary souls to rest. Overhead, starry pinpoints began to glow against the velvety sky. First, a few glimmers, and then a vivid tapestry that seemed to envelop the entire realm. Gently, the traveller moved onward, drawn by the light of lanterns and a soft rustling that hinted at more secrets hidden among the vines. Around the corner, a vine-covered archway led to a wide terrace overlooking the quiet city lights below. Here, the outline of ancient buildings and winding streets faded into the distance, and the canopy of night stretched endlessly above. Soft grasses underfoot encouraged a lighter step, each blade brushing gently against leather sandals. The sweet hush of a warm evening felt like a tender embrace. In the heart of the gardens, an elegant fountain gleamed under moonlight, its tears fashioned from smooth marble. Water cascaded, trickling down in a murmuring lull, each drop reflecting a glint of starlight. That steady, melodic sound formed the backdrop for a gentle chorus of night creatures. Tiny crickets hidden away in the foliage, distant owls softly calling from the city walls, and perhaps even the faint flutter of bat wings overhead. Warm breezes carried the faint sound of harps, delicately played somewhere unseen, adding a melodic undertone to the nocturnal landscape. It was as if the gardens themselves were singing a lullaby to anyone who stepped inside, an invitation to let go of worldly concerns and blend into the serene rhythms of the night. A single night-blooming lotus in a nearby pond caught the traveller's attention. Its soft petals glowed in pearly white, swaying to the quiet pulse of the water. The minimal ripple that circled its stem formed a gentle, hypnotic pattern. The traveller continued, each footstep measured and calm. The path wove through corridors of hanging vines that dripped with dew, then meandered into open terraces washed in moonlight. As more stars emerged, they lent their shimmering light to the greenery. The faintest fragrance of jasmine wafted by, reminiscent of distant memories and ancient stories, told before the invention of pen and parchment. While venturing deeper, the traveller encountered massive pillars that stretched into the sky, their surfaces etched with fading illustrations. Once vibrant, these images now lay subdued, gently reminding any observer of forgotten eras. Upon closer inspection, they depicted scenes of celebrations, banquets, and gatherings of people long past, all set amid gardens not unlike these. The faint outline of dancers swirling in rhythmic unison seemed to come alive in the traveller's imagination, as though they danced still, just at the edges of sight. In a quiet corner of this living tapestry, a small sanctuary of desert plants stood in patient array. Succulents, cacti, and spiky fronds shaped into artful clusters, their sharp lines contrasted with the soft moss and trailing vines. Yet they, too, thrived beneath the same gentle night sky. Each plant seemed carefully placed, as if to balance the abundant greenery with a moment of still, sturdy beauty. A short, carved wooden sign indicated this was a sacred section meant to honor the desert from which these gardens had been born. The traveler paused here, giving silent gratitude for the variety of life that flourished, no matter how harsh or gentle the environment. Continuing onward, the traveler found a set of stone steps leading to a higher terrace. The stones carried traces of ancient footprints, as though many before had climbed this same path to gaze upon the wonders from up high. Soft vines curled around the handrails, tiny flowers blooming along the way. Each step upward revealed a broader perspective of the garden below. The softly illuminated paths, the calm pools, and the interplay of moonbeams and lantern light shimmering across the leaves. From this vantage point, one might see how each terrace connected to the next, forming a harmonious pattern that guided the eyes and soothed the mind. On the upper terrace, an open-air pavilion stood like a silent guardian. Its ceiling of woven reeds let starlight spill through in shifting patterns. Potted herbs lined the edges, lavender, mint, sage, each releasing a subtle aroma into the night air whenever a breeze touched their leaves. Within the pavilion were low cushions scattered upon a woven mat, inviting any passerby to sit, rest, and perhaps meditate. The traveller settled there, sinking into the softness, heart rate slowing. There was no hurry, only the gentle passing of moments under a serene sky. The hush of water against stone, the mild rustle of leaves overhead, and the light swirl of a warm breeze through open arches combined into a chorus of night. In the pavilion's corner stood a small table carved from cedar. Upon it, a single candle flickered, its flame dancing in time with the garden's breath. The traveller's eyes followed the flickering light, letting thoughts drift as if carried away by the faintest currents of air. The hour grew later, and the sky darkened into deeper shades of indigo and violet. More stars appeared, countless tiny beacons shimmering overhead. Some formed recognizable clusters, while others shone in swirling trails across the endless sky. These cosmic patterns mirrored the shapes found in the garden below, as if nature had etched the entire realm in alignment with celestial design. Gazing out from the pavilion, the traveller felt a sense of oneness with the universal flow of time and existence. A quiet cat, slender and graceful, emerged from behind a column. Its curious eyes reflected the candle's glow, and it padded silently toward the visitor. For a moment, its presence felt like a gentle reminder of companionship in this peaceful solitude. With a soft purr, the cat circled around the traveller's feet, weaving a comforting pattern. Even the cat's movements seemed part of the garden's lullaby. From a terrace below, the wind carried the faint notes of a reed flute, softly echoing across the starlit courtyards. It was a melody of gentle rises and falls, reminiscent of flowing water. Listening quietly, the traveller allowed the music to fill every corner of the mind, resonating with the slow rhythm of breath and heartbeat. In the background, the cricket's chorus accompanied the flute, forming a natural harmony as ancient as the stones themselves. When the music faded, the traveller rose from the cushion and stepped back onto the winding path. The cat flicked its tail and followed for a few paces before slipping away into the shadows, its presence fading into silent mystery. Lanterns guided each step forward, their warm glow casting patterns on the ground. Passing under a tall archway of braided vines, the traveller entered a secluded courtyard draped in midnight blossoms. Pale petals glowed like tiny moons, their perfumes sweet and enchanting. A single stone bench beckoned, carved with images of swirling leaves and delicate birds. The traveller sat again, resting, inhaling the aromatic night air. Nearby, a cluster of hanging flower pots dangled from cedar beams. Their blossoms cascaded in gentle layers, forming floral curtains that swayed in the mild wind. Hummingbirds, at rest for the night, were nowhere to be seen, yet one could imagine their bright presence in daylight hours, hovering in delicate arcs to sip nectar. For now, the hush of night blanketed every leaf and blossom. Time meandered without urgency as the traveller lingered on that bench, taking in the subtle symphony of night. The gardens of Babylon seemed alive, yet perpetually at peace. Each gentle sound, water, breeze, distant flute, rustling leaves, helped the traveller sink deeper into a realm of calm. It felt as though the traveller had arrived at the threshold of a dream, where every step was a soft invitation to go further within, exploring a place beyond any worldly concern. A path of small, polished stones led deeper still, curving beneath intertwined branches that created a natural tunnel. The canopy overhead was dotted with glowing pearls of starlight filtered through leaves. Moisture from the evening air settled on each leaf, forming droplets that shimmered like tiny jewels. At intervals, the traveller reached out to brush fingertips against the branches, feeling the cool dew, connecting with the garden through gentle, mindful touch. Emerging from the foliage, the traveller discovered a secluded water garden where stone channels guided trickles of water down from a higher spring. Here, the quiet cascade pooled into small basins, each overflowing gently into the next. It was a cascading lullaby, the patient voice of water that had flowed for centuries. Lush ferns and broad-leafed plants embraced the edges of each basin, their leaves swaying in hushed harmony. Soft light from a solitary lantern revealed koi fish, their scales reflecting shimmering gold whenever they drifted through the beam. This hidden corner seemed made for reflection, for listening to nature's poetry. In the center of this water garden stood a weathered column, intricately carved with vines, birds, and wave-like patterns. At the top rested a rounded stone where water continuously trickled, forming rivulets that glided down the column's crevices. Thin wisps of mist rose from the moving water, and in the stillness, one could trace the gentle curves of the flowing droplets, each containing a minuscule reflection of the night sky. Absorbed in the beauty, the traveller leaned closer, resting a hand on the cool marble edge of a low pool. The mild humidity caressed the skin, a gentle reminder of water's enduring presence in this dry land. As the night deepened, a comforting embrace of warm air balanced the coolness of the water. There was no rush, only the garden's invitation to stay, to rest, to be at peace. A hidden step led upward, winding around a cluster of ancient fig trees. Their twisted roots and wide trunks lent the path a sense of timelessness. Moss-laden stones formed natural seats, and fireflies began to appear, flickering in and out of the darkness like tiny glowing sentinels. Each flash of light was gentle and brief, illuminating small corners of the foliage before vanishing again. The traveller moved slowly, pausing to watch these silent dancers, imagining they carried dreams and hopes from one blossom to the next. The higher the traveller climbed, the wider the view of the entire garden, revealing terraces awash in silvery moonlight. Soft breezes seemed to carry murmured stories through the leaves, echoes from distant times. A sense of awe filled the traveller's heart, joined with deep gratitude for the chance to wander in this sacred haven. The gardens felt less like a physical place and more like a state of being, an oasis of calm that would remain timeless and eternal within any who experienced it. Reaching the topmost terrace, the traveller found a serene platform where thick greenery gave way to an open view of the horizon. Above, the moon hung low, gleaming white among the endless stars. The glow revealed the silent silhouette of mountains far away, their edges hazy in the darkness. From this vantage point, the city below blended with the land, forming an ocean of muted shadows. The gardens, in contrast, remained an illuminated island of gentle life. Large, soft cushions ringed a central fire pit, though the fire was reduced to faint embers now, casting just the smallest hint of warmth. Even so, the residual glow brought comfort to the scene. A tall clay pitcher sat upon a flat stone beside the cushions, containing cool water infused with slices of cucumber and bits of mint. The traveller poured a small cup, feeling its refreshing chill trickle down the throat. The garden's hush enveloped every sense, lulling mind and body into a tranquil harmony. As the traveller sat by the last embers of the fire, the faintest hints of a breeze ruffled the surrounding fronds, merging with the distant trickle of fountains below. Now and again, a night bird sang in the orchard, just a brief, soulful note, as if to call gently through the stillness. The languid dance of the embers matched the slowed breathing of the traveller, thoughts drifting like clouds across a gentle summer sky. The hush of midnight settled in. The posture of the traveller softened, shoulders falling gently, eyelids heavy with restful yearning. Everything in the garden seemed to signal rest and surrender. The quiet forms of the statues, the soft hush of water, the wind's soothing murmur. It was a lullaby shaped by ancient hands and nourished by centuries of care. Now, in the lingering moments before slumber, the pace of all things began to slow. The nighttime air stilled, as if the entire world took one long, gentle breath. The leaves and branches that rustled earlier lay peacefully in the warm hush. In the depths of the terraces, water continued its soft journey, but even that sound felt distant and dreamlike, a memory of a lullaby drifting on the edges of hearing. That final drift of the wind carried the garden's sweet fragrance, hints of jasmine, lavender, and dewy foliage. The hour was late, and each flower nestled into the soft hush of night, closing petals as if to rest. The sky overhead shimmered in unwavering starlight, bearing silent witness to anyone seeking solace. Within this perfect balance of darkness and soft light, the traveller released the last traces of the day's thoughts. Breathing grew gentler, each inhalation a tender invitation, each exhalation a quiet surrender. The stillness wrapped itself around the traveller like a silken shawl. The distant flute no longer played, the cat no longer wandered, only subtle echoes remained, comforting in their absence. One by one, the night creatures hushed, giving the moment entirely to repose. The traveller's eyes gently closed. There was no urgency, no pressing concern. Thoughts dissolved into the soothing tapestry of the gardens of Babylon, where everything existed in a slow, harmonic balance. In that complete quiet, even the heartbeat felt like part of the universal rhythm, pulsing in time with an ancient lullaby that the walls and flowers sang in silence. Minds drifted into dreams of vines climbing ancient pillars, wide open courtyards flooded with moonlight, and glimmers of warm lanterns along every path. A sense of weightlessness took hold, as though the very air conspired to cradle weary souls. Gently, the traveller sank beyond wakefulness, guided by the unspoken promise of a deep and restful slumber. So, let the hush of these ancient gardens enfold you. Let the soft, flowing waters carry you deeper into a peaceful night, where worries fade into the background. The sweet lullaby of midnight resonates still, a soothing hum that wraps you in serenity. As the last conscious thoughts dim, the star-filled sky above remains, a silent guardian of dreams. Good night, dear traveller. Sleep well.